Every summer, millions of gardeners reach for pesticides as soon as they spot an earwig. Many people think it's one of the worst things that can happen to a garden. They blame earwigs for chewed leaves, ruined flowers, and damaged crops. But that's not true. Even worse, the real pests keep damaging gardens while earwigs get all the blame. Let's clear up the biggest misconception first. Earwigs do not eat your plants, at least not in the way most people think. If earwig numbers get out of hand, they might nibble on soft seedlings, but under normal conditions, they aren't the ones shredding your lettuce or tunneling through your strawberries. That damage usually comes from slugs, caterpillars, and flea beetles that feed at night, while earwigs are wrongly blamed. For centuries, farmers saw a chewed leaf and blamed the nearest crawling insect, often the earwig. That's how the myth began. What those farmers didn't realize was what the earwig was actually doing in their gardens at night. Earwigs are actually predators. They may be small, but they are relentless. At night, they move through the soil and across leaves, feeding on the pests that truly harm your gardens. They eat aphids, mites, moth eggs, and insect larvae, soft-bodied pests that slowly drain the life from your plants. One earwig can eat hundreds of aphids in a single night. In European apple orchards, farmers have encouraged earwig populations for decades. Swiss research found that earwigs reduced woolly apple aphid colonies by more than 50% without any chemicals. Orchardists began hanging corrugated cardboard tubes in trees to give earwigs places to nest and multiply. The pest control industry never promoted that study, but farmers who paid attention and learned from the land figured it out themselves. Earwigs are not your enemy. They are some of your most efficient, free, and tireless helpers. There's something else people rarely mention. Earwigs are remarkable mothers. A female earwig lays her eggs in a small underground chamber in late winter. Then, unlike most insects, she stays with them. She guards her eggs through freezing temperatures, turns them daily to prevent mold, and licks them to keep them clean and free of fungus. When the eggs hatch, she keeps protecting the young earwigs until they can survive on their own. This isn't how a mindless pest behaves. These earwigs have instincts, invest in their young, and play a much bigger role in the ecosystem than most people realize. When you pour pesticide into that patch of soil, you are not just killing one insect, you are destroying a family, a colony, and every aphid they would have eaten across the rest of the growing season.
People often avoid earwigs because of the myth that they crawl into ears while we sleep.
This fear is ancient. The name comes from Old English and refers to that old superstition. But actual cases of earwigs entering human ears are extremely rare. Earwigs avoid light and hide in dark, moist places in the soil or under bark. They aren't interested in people. Still, the name and the fear remained, and the insect kept paying the price. So what should you do if earwig numbers become too high? You find balance. Don't try to eliminate them completely. Put a rolled damp newspaper near your garden beds at night. Earwigs will hide inside it. In the morning, move them to spots with lots of aphids instead of killing them. Avoid watering your garden beds from above at night, since this can drive earwigs toward young seedlings. Every creature in your garden has a role to play. The creatures that look most threatening are often the ones doing the most good. Farmers in the past didn't have pesticide labels telling them what to fear. They watched, observed, and over generations learned which creatures to welcome. Earwigs were always among those welcome creatures. Stop killing earwigs. Start paying attention to your land.